Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the McGonagall Boxing Podcast. Well, it's been a busy couple of days, isn't it? Obviously the big news, breaking news, well, let's get straight to it, is Canelo Yildirim being made February 27th in the States. I believe it's somewhere like in Miami. It's not going to be in Texas for some reason, which I know Florida, a bit like Texas, that south of America, is a little bit better with the COVID restrictions. So you're probably going to get, by February, possibly 5,000 people in that audience. So interesting venue. Obviously hooked up with Matchroom. You wonder why Eddie Hearn was singing his praises so much post Callum Smith fight. He's a new Don King, isn't he? He sort of leaves, enters with the winner, enters with the champion. Leaves with the champion. Eddie Hearn does. So he's signed with 2 deal with Matchroom, possibly for longer. I've got a feeling it will be, but still viewing on as his own. So clearly the big issue was with Golden Boy, wasn't it, with Canelo? But yeah, he's getting stick. I have a lot of respect for Timothy Bradley. He's come up and said, what's he doing? He should be fighting Benavidez. He should be fighting, obviously, our own Billy Joe Saunders. I get that, but whether you like it or not, Yildirim's a mandatory. Obviously, his last fight against Anthony Dirrell, I mean, to be honest with you, I had him beating up Dirrell. I don't know where 2 judges scored that, but he got stopped, didn't it, in the 10th round with a Dirrell cut. I think had it gone the full 12, Dirrell might have even got stopped. But I think Yildirim would have won, but he got stopped after 10, and 2 of the judges somehow had Dirrell winning, which was, outrage. But obviously a Turkish guy, unknown Turkish guy, fighting in the States against, quite a big name, PBC fighter on a PBC card. What do you expect? So Dirrell won that WBC title, ultimately then got smashed by Benavidez himself. But obviously Benavidez failed a drug test, whether you like it or not. So that WBC title went up for grabs. Canelo obviously won that fight against Callum Smith, which was for the vacant WBC title. So he's now the WBC, WBA regular, WBA super champion in the super middleweight division. So he wants to clean up there, doesn't he? And I think he will do. But yeah, Yildirim, because of the whole Dirrell mess, and because Dirrell, I believe, is kind of retired now, and but if Benavidez is kind of still suspended, he slots into that manly position in WBC. Crazy as it is, does he deserve it? Not really. Is he going to get sparked out? Yes. He's a come forward fighter, slow footwork, straight lines, very predictable. He's got a decent engine on him, as you saw against Dirrell. He'll keep coming, but he's susceptible to a jab all night long. He's susceptible just to be countered. When he throws, he's got a nice overhand right, but he's not going to connect Canelo, who's going to see that a mile off. And when he throws it, ultimately Canelo's going to counter. He's going to counter with his own hook, and I think that'll be all she wrote. He's quite upright, so he's susceptible to a body shot. And I think, again, he's going to get stopped to the body. A bit like Rocky Fielding, the tall, kind of European aggressive style. Won't last long against Canelo. I don't think it's going to have more than 4 rounds, and that'll be that. But obviously the big fight will be in May against Billy Joe, which we all want to see. But Billy Joe can't stay on the sofa, can't be doing stupid Instagram videos, getting himself in trouble. He's got to have a nice tune-up fight. He's only fought once in nearly 18 months. That's not good enough to beat Canelo. He's got to get out there between now and May, have a tune-up fight. Obviously he doesn't want a barnstormer, but keep active. He said he needs to keep active. I want to see him in February. The Martin Murray fight was pretty much a sparring session, wasn't it? Murray was old and didn't have much to offer. 12 rounds easily in the bank for Billy Joe. Get out in February and then get out and face Canelo in May. That's the plan, Billy Joe. If he doesn't, I don't think he's going to beat Canelo. I'm worried about Fury going a year and a half before he takes on Joshua. But that's Fury, so let alone fighting Joshua. Joshua isn't on the level of Canelo. Let's have it right. So Billy Joe's got to get out there. But that's looking for the plan coming up. The next thing is obviously Josh Warrington. Very disappointing for vacating. Yeah, I know he's frustrated he couldn't get the Zucan fight, and he doesn't want to fight Kid Galahad. That's what it is, isn't it? It was a bit of a stinker fight, an ugly fight. Kid Galahad's awkward. He's got that Ingle style that's going to make anyone look awkward. Johnny Nelson, you know what I mean? Like Nassim, not saying Galahad's Nassim, but you know what I mean? That unorthodox, awkward style, quite defensive, quite slippery. And he gave Warrington problems. I think Warrington's work rate won in the fight, quite rightly, but it was an ugly fight. And Galahad is always going to cause Warrington problems, because he's not going to be like a Frampton going to stand in the middle and have a tear up, because that's what Warrington wants. And he, potentially could beat Warrington. So I get, and it's not a huge draw, so I get why Warrington doesn't want that fight again. So that's why he's vacated. He's frustrated that the IBF won't allow him that exception. But obviously, Dominic Ingle's come out and said they've put the iron on the IBF when they found out the Zucan fight wasn't happening. They weren't happy that Warrington was fighting just a run-of-the-mill mandatory. And they said, listen, he needs to fight us or vacate. So Warrington's vacated. It's disappointing, because Warrington's big bargaining power was the fact that, Eddie was the IBF champion. That's the one thing he went into the negotiating party. If he wants the big fights, especially against Gary Russell or Leo Santa Cruz, I'm the IBF champion. Without that, what's going to draw these fighters? You know what I mean? Like these big name fighters to Warrington, especially the UK. I mean, obviously he draws big in Leeds, and he does good numbers there. But unfortunately, we're in COVID right now, and we're probably going to be in COVID till the end of the summer, so that's suddenly completely gone. So the big bargaining thing he had was the IBF title. Now that's gone. They're not. He's going to join the Who Needs Him club. No one's going to want to fight him now. They know he's tough, but he's not a massive draw. Without COVID, without the Ellen Road crowd, and he hasn't got a title anymore. So he's really, I think, shot himself in his foot, but obviously he's got Eddie Hearn behind him. I'm sure they've got a master plan. He's no fool. He's got a good team around him. They've obviously got a plan, but Gary Russell is a big name in the States. He wants big names like Javante Davis. Do you know what I mean? Ryan Garcia. These people are massive draws in the States. Warrington's barely known in the States, unfortunately. And Russell's not going to come to the UK unless you pay him big money, which isn't there at the moment. And, big crowd. So, and if there's a reason for the, unification, but that's gone now. So, I just think Warrington's lost the big money fight on a bad decision, really. Look at the bigger picture. I would have fought Galahad again. I'd have beaten him again, and then I'd have moved on to a big unification. But it is what it is. Bad decision I believe. But Warrington obviously knows his own mind. He's got Eddie Hearn. They've obviously got a plan somewhere, somehow. I don't think he should be moving up to super featherweight. That might be an option for him, but he's quite a small featherweight as it is. So super feather is going to be a big stretch, and that's a tough division. And especially with the Stevenson moving up to that weight now. He's a potential superstar. These are nasty fights at super feather. So, I just think bad move by Warrington, and one he'll regret. He worked so hard for that IBF title. Now he's vacated it. Frank Warren said, Ingle said, if he's good enough, he'll win again. But is he going to get another title shot? This is the question, isn't it? Who's going to give him one? He's going to have to work his way up to them to manage positions now and fight, B-level fighters and, fighters that aren't going to interest him. And, he's 29, 30, he's in the prime of his life. He wants these big fights. So, bad move. No one's going to convince me otherwise, but it is what it is. Anyway, that's the roundup for this week. Canelo, Yildirim, won't go past 4. Warrington, I wonder what's next for him now. It's a tough call, isn't it? But he's not going to be getting that big fight with Zucan or Gary Russell now, vacating that title. Bad move, bad decision, but we'll see how it plays out.